gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
Has been charged for murder and tampering with evidence, specifically the corpse of his girlfriend, then 29-year-old Taylor Pomaski. Investigators say Pomaski was last seen on April 25th of last year at a party at her home. Officials called the circumstances suspicious and said she may have been a victim of foul play. Ware was initially questioned but not charged then. He was later arrested, though, in June last year for violating bond conditions on previous charges and then listed as a suspect for this case. Texas EcuSearch spent hundreds of hours searching along several wooded areas along FM 2920. In December of 2021, Pomaski's remains were found.
Ex-NFL player Kevin Ware Jr. has been indicted on charges in the death of his girlfriend last year in Texas. On Thursday, the Harris County District Attorney said that the former tight end was charged with murder, as well as tampering with evidence, specifically a corpse, in the death of 29-year-old Taylor Pomaski. Texas officials identified Pomaski's remains back in May after they were found during a December 2021 search in North Harris County. She was last seen more than 7 months earlier on April 25, 2021, at a party at her home. In June, Ware was identified as a suspect during a bond hearing on unrelated charges. According to NBC News, the 41-year-old already sits behind bars in nearby Montgomery County. In April of 2021, he was arrested for drugs and weapons charges and arrested again in June of 2021 for failing to appear in court. If Ware is convicted of murder, he faces a potential sentence of 15 years to life in prison. This according to the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
News they have been waiting for. The parents of Taylor Pomaski only speaking with ABC 13's Shelley Childers after learning charges have been filed in their daughter's death.
Her boyfriend, ex-NFL player Kevin Ware Jr., now indicted, and Shelley joins us live from downtown tonight.
Eric and Gina, this is where a grand jury met earlier today and found there was enough evidence to charge Kevin Ware Jr. with the death and disappearance of his girlfriend. Her parents tonight feeling a mix of emotions: anger, frustration, and anticipation. For Leslie Mandeville and Stephen Pomaski,
I think I've been shaking just about all day long.
It has been a long road to get here.
Grateful. Brought me to my knees, but grateful that we have charges.
Charges filed against Kevin Ware Jr. for their daughter's death and disappearance. Taylor Pomaski was just 29 years old, living at this Spring area home with her boyfriend, ex-NFL player Kevin Ware Jr. This is where investigators believe she was last seen alive.
He took my little girl. I mean, she was just my precious little girl, and he took her from me. And I'll never have her back.
It all happened April 2021. Ware was arrested in Montgomery County for driving 115 miles an hour. Inside his car, deputies found drugs and loaded guns, including an AK-47. Ware, who has a lengthy criminal history, is already a convicted felon, but was given a reduced bond and got out. Days later, Taylor disappeared. Texas EcuSearch was called in. Her parents kept asking questions, but investigators say Ware refused to help. He was rearrested by U.S. Marshals for bond violation. Court records show he was found in possession of another gun. After more than a dozen ground searches, Texas EquiSearch finally found her remains last December. They were positively identified in April, and today, a grand jury handing down their formal indictment.
There were so many red flags. It's time.
Kevin Ware Jr. charged with felony murder and tampering with evidence, a corpse. But the search for justice continues.
I thought finding her would bring closure. I thought each step I thought would be closure, and I thought this was closure, but it's not.
For the parents who will never get to hold their firstborn, their eldest daughter, again.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.